The president and allies have tried to build this network to go up against China. And that's what a lot of the critics of President Trump's tariffs have been saying. You know, let's not fight with everybody. Let's make sure everybody's on the same team against China. Tell us about China's practices and what really needs to be done to stop that behavior.
I know there's a lot of criticism about the specific of China's practices, the intellectual property theft, these kinds of concerns, and they're real. But, Maria, I think the problem with Chinese trade is actually more fundamental. We've ended up setting up a system post-WTO. I can criticize this because it happened before I was there. Where really, you know, the Chinese can have wide-ranging access to our markets. They can sell an awful lot here at kind of when they want and where they want and at what quantity. It is the opposite in the case of us. When we go to China, we can only sell what the Chinese say we can sell, when they say we can sell it, and in what quantity. So the market access is radically different, and you're seeing that reflected in these trade statistics. Not, you know, you would expect a poor country like China to have a trade surplus with the United States and Canada, but these are surpluses that just keep growing as China's wealth is growing, and it's due to unequal market access. And I believe if you look particularly at your country, the United States, you know, you have a situation where you have a country that is potentially larger and a geopolitical rival having unequal access to the United States market. I think this is a very serious economic and political problem. And while I can disagree with, you know, we can debate some of Trump's tactics, the fact that he is willing to address this, I think, is very important.
Yeah, I think you make a really important point in terms of market access. Now, the Chinese have said, okay, in 5 years, you will be able to own outright a company that is Chinese in 5 years in the auto sector, or in the banking sector, rather. We'll see what that means. So if they can open up markets, that would be one victory. What are your thoughts on the national security part of this? Because that's another issue for this administration, whereas China has started creating islands in the South China Sea. They don't own the South China Sea, obviously, and yet they're creating islands and then putting military bases on those islands.
There's been an assertion in many circles that China's nationalism is strictly defensive or strictly inward-looking. I do think you're seeing growing signs that China really does have a more aggressive posture than people think. And the building of islands in the South China Sea is frankly outrageous. Chinese, in my judgment, Chinese territorial claims, which go, you know, hundreds of miles from their shore, literally to the coasts of other countries in Asia, these are not reasonable claims. And so, look, I think this is all part of the thing we should be concerned about. We do want to engage China economically. There's advantages to be had. There's, frankly, China is a better place today than it was, you know, many years ago under Mao Zedong. But nevertheless, this combination of trade aggression and increasingly military and strategic aggression, I think, should concern us.
And more disruption here, and I know your book speaks right to that in terms of business leaders thriving in that environment. Mr. Prime Minister, it's great to see you. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Congrats on the book. Stephen Harper joining us there. Pick up the book right here, right now.